Let's discuss what is amniocentesis. Amniocentesis is a procedure which helps to actually diagnose any abnormality or a birth defect before the actual birth of the baby. So it helps in the diagnosis of birth defects or abnormalities. In the uterus, the baby is surrounded by amniotic fluid which contains the cells from the baby, and these cells have the genetic material which the doctors analyze for any chromosomal abnormalities or any syndrome. So what happens in this amniocentesis? This is usually done in the third trimester. And what are the reasons for doing amniocentesis in the third trimester is, there are certain reasons due to which this is done. It is done in case of women which are more than 35 years of age, because in those cases the chances for abnormality can be more. And second reason for this is previous child or pregnancy with birth defect. So if there is any such case, then this is done. Blood test or ultrasound suggesting birth defect. Then next, it can also be done to analyze the birth defect when the family history of there is for genetic disorders. It can also be done for the third trimester. The reasons for procedure in third trimester are to determine maturity of baby's lungs. Then secondly, it can also be performed to diagnose a uterine infection and to check for anemia in baby with Rh incompatibility, that is rhesus factor incompatibility. So what happens? Ultrasound is continuously being done when the procedure for amniocentesis is being performed. Remember, continuous ultrasound helps the doctor to locate the position from where the doctor is going to have that amniotic fluid. So doctor first of all can also give anesthesia before taking out the amniotic fluid. So by having this ultrasound continuously, he can make out from where he is going to have the amniotic fluid. The amniotic fluid is taken for diagnosis. As I told you that it has cells which have that genetic material from the growing embryo and can be then diagnosed. So what is going to happen when that amniotic fluid is taken? It also contains those cells from the baby, and those cells contain the genetic information which can be diagnosed for syndromes like Down syndrome, neural tube defect, and many more such defects which can be there and can produce abnormal growth of the baby. So after this procedure, ultrasound is used to monitor fetal heartbeat. As I told you, continuous ultrasound is there, and mild cramping or pressure in lower abdomen can occur in the mother, and the doctor advises the mother to avoid any physical stress for 24 hours. So this is the benefit of amniocentesis. As I told you, that you can actually make out or rule out the abnormality in the growing baby before actual birth of the baby. So this helps the mother to actually find out the abnormalities, and the doctor also actually can make out if the growing baby is healthy or not. So amniocentesis has a lot of benefits, but this is sometimes used for illegal purposes. It is used to detect whether the growing baby is a baby boy or a baby girl. So this is a misuse of this technique, amniocentesis, which was actually originally developed for detecting the defects in the baby. So amniocentesis is a procedure in which we can actually diagnose or detect abnormalities before the actual birth of the baby by taking the cells from the amniotic fluid which contain the genetic material from the baby, and after diagnosis of that genetic material, the doctors can tell you whether the growing baby is normal or it can show some abnormal defects such as Down syndrome or neural tube defects and many more like that.